ever been so lost that you just can't find yourself? You ever been pushed back to the limit and now you need some help? Even if it's one call just from one friend that knows you best. Good things are coming, yeah, I know good things are coming. We had no time to react, things are getting better real fast. I can feel it in my bones, we don't. Now it's time for a comeback, oh. Come back, come back, come back. It's time for a comeback. Come back, come back, come back. It's time for a comeback. You ever find that all the little things in life are everything? And even though we don't know what the future looks like, I bet anything on every family to pull it together. Yeah, we can, yeah, we can. Cause love don't go away just like that. It can only bend. We had no time to react, things are getting better real fast. I can feel it in my bones, we don't. Now it's time for a comeback, oh. Come back, come back, come back. It's time for a comeback. Come back, come back, come back. It's time for a comeback. Come back, come back, come back. It's time for a comeback. Come back, come back, come back. It's time for a comeback. We had no time to react, but things are getting better real fast. I can feel it in my bones, we know. Now it's time for a comeback. We had no time to react, but things are getting better real fast, yeah. I can feel it in my bones, we know. Now it's time for a comeback, oh yeah. We had no time to react, but things are getting better real fast. I can feel it in my bones, we know. Now it's time for a comeback, oh. Come back, come back, come back. It's time for a comeback. Come back, come back, come back. It's time for a comeback. Come back, come back, come back. It's time for a comeback. Come back, come back, come back. It's time for a comeback.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another stream of ours. Lately, we had Firefox on Friday. Today is Saturday,
Yep.
which means it's League of Legends time. We're so excited to be here. We have a lot coming up for you guys. Obviously, GCU coming off a very, very strong semester,
Yep.
winning the NECC League, undefeated.
It's awesome.
Absolutely amazing. But another thing we want to say is sponsored by Canes, powered by Rockstar. Thank you to all those friendly and helpful people helping us out here at GCU. I'm Jack Dixon.
I'm Michael.
Michael, how are
Yeah.
you doing today?
I'm doing good. This is my first week out here. It's the first week of CLOL, so it's going to be the first week for GCU's league
Yeah.
team. It's going to be super awesome, especially with that momentum from last semester. I think that's really important, especially in this more amateur scene for League of Legends. I think you really need to snowball, get that those wins under your belt, and get that experience. And especially coming forward into a new league, that's going to be really important for building your brand and your name. So people know GCU, whether it's good or not so good. I mean, we won a league, we won NECC, and because of that, we're coming into CLOL off a win, and that's always better than coming off of something else. So
That's right.
I think that's going to help us, especially with this first couple weeks getting in here.
Yeah, definitely. And momentum is obviously super, super helpful for any type of competitive game. Personally, I don't have a lot of experience in League.
Yeah.
You do. So we'll see a lot of the more specific kind of like annotations from you throughout the game today. We're going against Weber State. Personally, I don't know too much about Weber State. Is it in Cincinnati?
I honestly have no clue. I mean, I didn't do my research up on them. It kind of got thrown in here, but all I know is GCU, and hopefully we don't have to worry too much about Weber later down the line if they end up going in there and becoming one of the main competitors.
Yeah.
But let's hope we just have a good game, good series against them today. See how it goes.
Right, and we saw just a little bit ago on the screen while we're waiting to get into choosing our characters and choosing the bands and stuff like that. I saw a Master. In that lineup for Weber State, so I'm a little nervous, but I have full faith in GCU. Coming off that hot streak, I think they can pull it out.
Yeah, I will say that I think we're gonna get into the bans and some of the picks here in a moment. And right here we do see that they did actually already do their draft lull, so we are going to see that it was blue side first picking Caitlyn. I think that's a solid pick, especially as blue side. You're getting that first pick. You want to pick either an ADC or a jungler that's really strong at the moment. We did see a new patch come out with Maokai nerfs, some ADC buffs, so I think ADC is really important this patch, and that's why we did see that Caitlyn first pick. They responded with a Gnar and Jhin pick on red side. Gnar is a really safe first pick, especially for top lane, because Gnar is just really strong into a lot of champions, and Jhin is also in a good spot right now, especially with some of the ADC item changes. IE got buffed, Infinity Edge, and they responded with Gangplank and Morgana, so that's how that's how those first couple rounds went. Gangplank is also in kind of a good spot. They did buff Essence Reaver, but Gangplank got a nerf, so he actually is not as strong as he used to be. But I think Gnar, Gangplank, they're both going to be a little passive in the beginning until Gnar gets that ultimate, gets to get in there and beat up Gangplank a little bit more. I think the early game's going to be definitely kind of decisive for that, because Gangplank, whether he takes First Strike, or First Strike's the most popular rune for him right now for sure. Morgana, Caitlyn, they're going to be synergizing in the bot lane, kind of passive. If they do hit a root, though, the enemy bot lane will have to be worried. I mean, they do have Jhin and Karma, not too much mobility, hard CC. Looks like it's going to be kind of a poke fest for both of them. And then we do see these mid lane jungle picks in the later half. We have Rek'Sai, which Rek'Sai actually I think is in a decent spot. He's not super popular, but he's a really good early game skirmisher, and he's gonna he's gonna definitely I think help get some momentum, whether it's in that top lane, that bot lane. He has that some CC, good early game fights, and they responded with Jin Zhao, who also has a good early game, so it's gonna be interesting. I think Rek'Sai does have a bit more mobility in that aspect, so he might get around the map a little bit better. So we're just gonna have to see how that pans out. We have Victor, who's a safe mid laner, always pretty good. Syndra to respond. That's going to be kind of passive in the mid lane. Nobody probably going to get killed too early unless there's a gank from one of those junglers, like I said. So I think it's definitely going to be a game centered around the jungle. And the bot lane, if they can get some kills, it's really going to depend on how passive or aggressive GCU and Weber State are playing, because it definitely could go either way, especially with this comp. I don't have any comp I really favor right now.
I was going to say, when you look at these two teams, do you see one that has a stronger, like top lane or like a stronger bottom? Like, do you see any like mismatches at all?
I will say I think it definitely is a bit scary going into a Gangplank ever, but I think because of these nerfs that he just received, it might be a little bit better, especially for Gnar. I actually think Gnar might have a better laning chance against him just because he does have poke early. He could get in there, get out, especially with Rek'Sai. Gangplank doesn't have too much to get away. He does have his orange. It'll let him get out of any hard CC. So if Rek'Sai does knock him up, Gangplank will be able to get away a little bit easier, has his barrels, stuff like that. But I think it definitely is going to come down to these skirmishes in the early game. There's no clear tank for blue side. I mean, Gangplank could get a bit tanky. He's mostly building damage, though. Jin Zhao also a little bit tanky, but they don't have a clear tank going into this comp and this game. And because of that, I think it's just going to be a little rough for them, especially when they get in the latter half of the game. If they're not super fed, they are going to get poked down a little bit easier, especially with like Jin, Syndra, Rek'Sai, Gnar damage, if those guys are ahead. So I think it is a little bit scarier for GCU in this situation, going forward into this match. But if they play their cards right, I think it's definitely a good match for them.
Yeah, and just to give our viewers a little bit of a clarity here, losing C-Splash for GCU's roster, and we did lose one other person. Congratulations to C-Splash for graduating, first of all.
Awesome.
And I'm not sure who else. I can't remember who else we lost, but we want to welcome, I think, Matt or Mike.
Mike.
Pardon me, Mike. I know we we did this together, Mike, but it's so long. I do apologize. Mike's gonna be playing in today, I believe, right?
Yeah, he's gonna be that new top laner for GCU, so that is a little bit of a shift in just some of their players. But I still think because those players have been around, Mike was a sub and like playing club before for GCU. He still knows all the players. He's been in there. He's been getting some scrims in with them. They've been kind of learning this new team dynamic, like getting some experience on those players that maybe haven't played varsity as much. But for sure, it's going to be great to like see some fresh blood on the team, and hopefully they could keep this momentum going forward and get some results in this series.
Yeah. Well, I am excited to see how this goes. Obviously, it's been a little bit of a while since I've sat down and I've watched a full league game. I think the last time I did it might have been with Travis, who isn't here with us anymore. Shout out, Travis. Obviously, we miss you, brother. But I am excited. I still have the gist of it. You got your minions, you got your drakes, you got all the different types of power-ups. The thing I just still kind of am a little fickle with is what abilities, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's so many characters. Do we
Yeah.
know the exact number of characters?
Last time I checked, it was 155, so it was a little bit more than that. It's probably like closer to 160 now, but still so many champions, each of them with abilities. It's just there's so much going on, and I don't blame anybody for being not too familiar.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's just so rough getting into League. There's just so many characters, so many items, especially. They change items every patch, so they're buffing items, nerfing items. People who are using the same items from last patch, it's just not going to work the same, especially with a lot of those nerfs and buffs. So the builds change all the time. Also, the map changes. So, like you said, the Drakes.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know when the last time you played was or watched a game, but they changed the Drake. So they do have elemental Drakes with the Fire Drake, the Water Drake. They did remove the Chemtech Drake for a while, about last year, and then they re-added it. So now we have the Chemtech Drake back. That's gonna help you in those scenarios where once you get Soul, the lower health you are, the more damage you're gonna do.
Gotcha.
So it's just there's a lot of stuff based around the objectives that changes. So I think right now the meta is going to be shifted towards that bot lane. We're probably going to see a lot of Drake skirmishes. It's going to help them get that momentum moving forward.
Right.
And so I think bot lane is probably the most prominent role right now just because, those ADCs, especially with this new patch, I think they're going to be really strong going in those late game fights. So I feel like those jungles are going to be funneling all their resources bot lane. And I think that's why they have the Gangplank Gnar top lane, because although they can gank them if they see the opportunity, it's going to be a lot of kind of back and forth, like, wet noodle fight. They're going to be smacking each other a little bit, doing some damage. But unless somebody clearly has a way to get in and get a kill, they're probably not going to skirmish too much if they don't have to.
I see. Who are you playing right now? Who's your
man,
legends?
I think my favorite champ always has been Shen. I love Shen. He's great for the game. I think some people have different opinions, but Shen's just great for team fights. He's a good team player. I'm always been a team player guy, so I love those kinds of champions, Shen, Ornn, stuff like that. Although I do think ADC Jhin is my favorite character, so I do like seeing Jhin in this game. Jhin is super cool. His lore, his character's so fun. One of the best champions I think in League, and it's gonna be cool seeing how he is on this patch because actually the past year of Jhin has been a little bit rough for them. But I think we're going to get into the game in a little bit here.
Yeah, and here we are. In the gate, ready to go. Game number 1.
Oh, starting off with a pause.
We're pausing the game. Just a friendly reminder, we are powered by Rockstar, which is awesome because personally, when I was younger, I used to work at Target, and I was like, yo, I really love Monster. And then I came to GCU, and now I'm on Rockstar.
Yeah, so you kind of switched teams over there, huh?
I switched teams, and I want to say Rockstar, it's good. It's a little tangy sometimes.
Oh yeah.
But it kind of wakes me up.
Yeah.
It kind of wakes me up, and I mean, obviously, energy drink.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna do.
Yeah.
So it's gonna wake me up. And then we're sponsored by Canes, which is amazing because
I love
I'll
Canes.
eat Canes once a week. For
Oh yeah.
Sure. There's 2, like each direction here on GCU's campus.
Oh yeah. 100%.
And there's like one down Camelback, or pardon Bethany, and there's another one like up the 17, I think is what
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
I think it's actually up to 10. I go
10,
with my
yeah.
I go with actually some of the guys at the arena all the time.
Oh yeah.
They went last night. They didn't take me with them, unfortunately.
Ooh.
I was already in my room, snuggled up
Ooh.
ready for bed, but I let it slide. But
Yeah.
I love Canes. I do actually. I go there all the time. It's just so good.
Yeah. I think what's your Canes order?
I always go with the sandwich combo. The sandwich.
Wow.
I know some people love the Caniac.
Yeah, I was
the
gonna say.
box.
I think you're the first person to ever say like you're a sandwich person. at
Yeah,
Canes.
I've just always loved the chicken sandwich anywhere I go.
I need to give it a shot, honestly, because
It's pretty good.
I love chicken sandwiches too. I had Chick-fil-A before this.
Oh, yeah.
Which is awesome. And I normally just get like the 3-piece or some. I don't really get the Caniac because it's a lot.
Yeah.
3-piece is enough. I've got neighbors at home and like other friends here that they're like, yeah, I'm getting like a Caniac combo, and sometimes I get the sandwich,
Yeah.
and I'll do like 3 extra sides of toast. I'm like,
Hey,
it's good, but how do you eat that much?
Hey, some people are college kids. They're eating as much as they can. I know
Right.
personally. So I have my days where I could do that as
Yeah.
well. But I think it's just the bread, especially in the.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we're actually getting back into the game
Yeah.
here for a second.
Oh,
Awesome.
here we go.
Yeah, we're gonna run it down mid. That's what we usually see sometimes in these competitive scenes. They're gonna look for an early game pick.
A little bit of a lag situation. I don't know if we have a pause or anything like that. We'll get back into this shortly after this technical difficulty. Hang with us, folks. But other than that, you were talking about. Oh, here we go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, we're gonna look for. They usually look for a pick here, whether it's Morgana Q. They're probably gonna get some vision in this top side. Oh, they actually are gonna flash. They're gonna trade flash for flash. That is gonna be rough on the Rek'Sai, as he's not gonna have as much pressure early game on those lanes as he's trying to flash in and get a knock up on someone. But they're trading that for Morgana flash, so Morgana is probably gonna be playing a bit more passive in this bot lane. They're not gonna have as much pressure. And I do want to point out that we do actually have 4 TPs, which is usually normal. We have the TP on the top lane, the mid lanes. But I know sometimes in these early games, they will, if they're looking for these early game skirmishes, especially with like a Rek'Sai and a Jin Zhao, they will opt out for an Ignite or something like that. They're going to trade this Vision top lane right here. But yeah, this early game I think is going to be the most exciting, honestly, especially with these junglers.
We'll see how this plays out. Now, I don't know too much, but I thought that normally there's you have your different separate lanes. They all grouped up there at the beginning, and you said that they do that to get an early pick.
Yeah, they're actually gonna make Karma flash here. Karma is gonna stand on that bush, and she's gonna get poked down. That's actually really not good for their level 1. But yeah, in the beginning of the game, they'll commonly, especially when they have hard CC like that Morgana bind, it makes them stand still for 3-4 seconds. So they'll go early game and try to get an early game pick so they could get a lead in the beginning of the game, and that could usually give you some really good momentum moving forward. We're going to see them trade a little bit in the bot lane here. The mid lane as well. They're just going to poke each other down. I don't expect to see any kills right here just because I think both teams are aware of what they're capable of. I think the most oppression is probably going to happen in that bot lane only because we do know 2 flashes have been used by the supports. Karma has no flash now. Morgana has no flash. It's going to be scary for both teams. I mean, they're gonna try to not get ganked, try to survive any oppression from the other team. But it is going to be rough, especially with no flashes in those supports.
Yeah. Right now
we do see the top lane. They are trading quite a bit. I think it's a little bit rougher for Gangplank level 1 only because all he has is his Q. And that Q is going to be on a cooldown. And Gnar has auto attacks that are not on a cooldown. So as long as, Gnar is keeping his distance, it's going to be a little rough for Gangplank until he gets a little bit more health, a little bit more damage. So I do think that's going to be a bit rough for him in the early game.
Still happening.
Yeah, we see some damage getting passed out. Gnar's actually about to get close to rage right here. I wonder if he's going to do anything with that. I wouldn't assume so just because he doesn't have any pressure on him too much. He actually is going to jump in. He's going to land the stun. He's going to poke him down a little bit. Gangplank is going to take that orange and he's going to get out.
Wow. League is fascinating to me. Like if you just the detail that goes into this game is just like if you know what's going on, I feel like that's so like high IQ brain of yours.
Yeah, I feel like there's so much love going into this game. especially from like a lot of the devs and stuff. And there are a lot of issues with like the balancing team, and you know it does make its mistakes, but every game does. And I think at the end of the day, there's so much love and passion going into League with all the characters and the skins and such that it just turns out to be so fun for anybody who could get involved and actually like it.
Yeah. I mean, I still have to try it myself, but we'll see.
It's right. We might get you on the Rift out one day.
Yeah. Try out for the team, maybe.
Oh, yeah. We're going to see some more trades just from the Gangplank and the Gnar. They both have... Oh, we're going to see a stun actually landed mid lane. But yeah, the top lane, they both do have... Oh, Xin Zhao went for a gank there, but unfortunately he couldn't land anything. But yeah, just a lot of these poke is coming out, especially with these mid lanes and these top lanes and the bot lane. There's no clear engage for either team besides their jungle. So I think that's why this game has been very passive in the first few levels, just because these junglers are kind of make or break for any of the engages.
Yeah.
They could get some engages with the Gnar or possibly the Jhin getting a stun, or maybe the Caitlyn or Morgana landing something. But it just seems like both teams are very, you know, they don't want to get behind. It's horrible to get behind early game, so if you can, it's better to go even than to go be behind. So they're just going to kind of keep taking these small trades, trying to get vision, get a little bit pressure. We are going to see both junglers actually come to the top side right here. He's going to get some vision on that Xin Zhao. He does know he's there now. So I don't know if they're going to make a play here. He does now. He just popped his vision. So Spec was unaware until that moment. But now they do know that Rek'Sai's in their jungle. He does have a little bit of vision on them. And we know both junglers are top. So that's essential because now bot lane can be a little bit more aggressive either way. Both sides could be a little bit aggressive. They know where the mid laners are, the top laners, the junglers. So it's kind of just those four down there for at least a little bit. We're going to see the Syndra and the Victor reset here. They're both going to go get a bye. And with that bye, hopefully they get something close to a lost chapter. We are going to see a gank come in top lane, though. Aqua's going to drop the ultimate for Gangplank. We're going to get a knockup. Flashes come out. First blood comes from Spec. Gnar is going to take down Aqua. And I don't think he could stay there, yeah. He's got to get out. He's 2 levels down, and Gnar's coming up on his rage. That's just going to be a 1-for-1. Now, in that situation, you could say that it might be worth for either team. It could go both ways. I mean, they both got a kill. We saw a kill on the jungler there, which might be better just because Xin Zhao might have a little bit more influence in these mid-game skirmishes. And, you know, Gangplank, he can farm up any time in the game. So it might be a little bit better that GCU got that kill with the jungle. We are going to see oh, nice. Morgana's going to drop that shield, get Caitlyn out of there. Flashes come out from Caitlyn. And we also didn't trade that Xin Zhao flash. So Xin Zhao is going to have flash in one of these next skirmishes if it doesn't take more than 5 minutes. So that means that there's no flashes for Weber besides Jhin and Syndra. And then we have flash for Morgana, Victor, and Xin Zhao on the other team.
Alright. So an even battle right now. Gold just going in the favor just a little bit for Weber State.
Yeah, and you know, that could happen within a couple minions, stuff like that. We do see Rek'Sai staring down his fresh meat over here as Victor's sitting over there taking a ward out. Don't think they're going to engage at the moment. Victor might have to take the long way out, or he will get attacked. He is going to have to flash as he didn't take the long way out. It is a little scary with Rek'Sai. He could go over those walls at any given moment, you know, get a knock up, and then you might die. So I think it is the safe option to just flash out of there. That does leave GCU with only 2 flashes now, so it is going to be a little bit rough for them if they do end up going for this Drake or something like that. Yeah, the gold advantage, nothing too clear yet, though. It is kind of both ways. It could go either way. We do see this bot lane, though. They are going to start slow pushing, I believe, towards Weber, unless Weber starts pushing back. That would give GCU a good time to reset or go for drag, depending on if they get vision on Rek'Sai, if they get a pick on Rek'Sai, something like that.
Yeah.
They're also going to clear out this vision, which makes it a little bit safer for them.
He's got a little pet.
Yeah, this new patch, that's a big part of it. We got these pets for the jungles now. It's really interesting, especially, you know, knowing that we can have these guys. Oh my gosh, the root's just going to come out for so long. And, you know, that's why I think Caitlyn Morgana is such a scary, you know, enemy to have. I mean, you could dodge every ability in the world, but every now and then, you know, we're only human. These guys are going to mess up. They're going to get hit by a Morgana stun. Yeah. Caitlyn's going to lay a trap. You're stunned for 5 seconds, and, you know, you kind of pray you don't die.
GCU, though, gets that early 2-1 lead.
Yeah, that's going to be really good for this bot
momentum.
lane moving forward. Caitlyn does do really well with that damage early. Are just going to poke down the gangplank here. We do see a stun come out. Victor doesn't have flash. This is going to probably be a kill here.
Oh.
He's going to drop his ult and his bubble, but it's not going to be enough. We do see Gnar as well on the top lane getting some damage out on the gangplank. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to kill, though. Morgana almost lands a root on that Rek'Sai.
First Drake is in.
Yeah, first Drake. I honestly don't think GCU has anything to respond to this. They know that Victor doesn't have TP. He doesn't have flash. I mean, he's still dead. I think they could just get this for free, honestly. Caitlyn's going to reset, get her buy off, and they're going to trade this first Infernal Dragon. That is going to be a little bit rough just because stacking dragons is so strong right now. I mean, when you have 4 dragons, you get the soul. Depending on which soul, most of them are really good. They're going to burn the heal from Jhin.
Oh.
Jin's now going to have to pop his ult to live there. Let's see if he can dodge the Jhin. Oh no, he gets taken out. So that is going to be some gold on Jhin, which is going to be a little rough considering, you know, Caitlyn just fought well and hard for her kill, and now it's now they're even. We're going to see TP come out from Syndra to mid lane. So now we know that she does not have TP. She's going to have her flash though. Jin's flash also up. Karma's coming up. Everybody on Weber actually is getting some flash, like their flashes up right now. So it's going to be a little scary for them. GCU being, it's going to be a little scary just because they have 5 flashes coming up. They have TP coming up from Gnar. At 14 minutes, the TP is going to upgrade. It's going to be a little rough for them to get out of this position where they're about 1k gold down. Keeping this poking in the mid lane. We see Syndra and Victor trading back and forth. I do think Syndra got that last kill on Victor, so I think that's going to make it a little rough for Victor to contest.
I
see a
can
fight
quick.
start in the top lane. Oh, Morgana flash. We actually have a mini dive going on in the bot lane. Nothing to come from it, but Morgana did have to flash, and Caitlyn did heal. A fight resuming in the top lane. It's going to be a 2v2. The skirmish does not go their way. Spec is going to drop. It looks like Aqua is going to fall as well. That's a really rough position for them to be in just because, you know, they don't have the roam timer. Syndra can walk top, and Victor, you know, he didn't have the time to push the wave out fast enough and go the right way. He kind of has to try to match the Syndra, but he walks bot lane instead of top lane. And so that's just kind of unfortunate. They go bot, they don't really get anything, but top lane they do get 2 kills. So that's going to put GCU in a bit of a rough position moving forward, but it definitely is still anyone's game. I mean, these games are so easy to come back from. It is a very rough position just because Rek'Sai is dominating this map. I mean, this is why I say Rek'Sai is like, he's not played too much right now. I think it's just because, you know, before this last patch, we had Maokai super overpowered, Udyr, any demonic embrace jungler honestly was like really good. We had Udyr, Maokai, anybody who could build it, honestly. And it was just really oppressive just because of the damage, output, and stuff like that. But with this new patch, I think Rek'Sai might have a little bit more going forward. It won't come out. They're just going to stun the Jins out, pushing them away. There's some vision on this top side. But yeah, I think Rek'Sai is going to have a bit of a better position going forward. His early game oppression is just so impressive, and it's very difficult to deal with it. I mean, unless you really have your eyes on him at all time, you have really good vision, stuff like that, it's going to be rough to deal with it.
So taking a look after this early game, and, you know, maybe fast forwarding to the future, do we see GCU? Ooh, another kill there from Tibbs.
Yeah, that's going to be
trade,
rough.
though.
I think that is the Masters player on their team, they're Gnar, so you're going to expect, you know, those 1v1s where he's just more oppressive and he does play a little bit better. He also is ahead in XP and gold, so he's going to be a little bit stronger no matter what. GP can always catch up. I mean, that's what's so charming about his characters. GP has a lot of farming power, scaling power in the late game. He could build a lot of damage with that Essence Reaver buff. It's just going to be a little rough for him, especially being down XP, down gold. And Gnar did kill him under tower and push the wave so that it would be in a way where GP does. We're going to see Spec get caught out right here once again by Rek'Sai and Karma. I mean, it's just, you can't really walk anywhere without knowing where their enemy team is. Especially with this Rek'Sai. I mean, he can easily get under walls, with his team. He can knock someone up, and it's just so difficult to deal with.
Spec already has 3 deaths, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough being in this position. You know, it's honestly just like you're being out-positioned, and it always just comes down to that. You're positioning in this game, and I think this Rek'Sai has been playing really well. Not sure what their jungler has rank-wise, stuff like that, but he obviously does know his positioning. He does know how to play in the amateur scene. He's doing pretty well, and I think he's doing a good job keeping his lanes healthy and ahead. And it's just going to be rough for Spec to deal with. I mean, he can't get these Drakes. They don't have enough gold. Their best bet right now is to kind of out-macro and to just play, like, to win 1v1s and stuff and to farm at this point. It's really rough for them to 5v5 right now.
Yeah.
It is just difficult with, like, all 3 lanes, honestly, are probably ahead the end on Weber State. And it's going to be rough. Luckily for them, I think Victor and GP and Caitlyn all can farm really well, scale really well, but it is going to make these next 5-10 minutes really rough for them just because it can make or break the game. If Weber State can solidify this lead and, you know, get a couple more kills and just get a couple more objectives, towers, the next Rift Herald, stuff like that, it's going to be really difficult to come back for GCU. But I do think that with the right plays, I think GCU could definitely come back. They have to slow the game down for sure. They have to try to pick their fights wisely. They have to be ahead. They can't be 1v1ing like so. I mean, Aqua does get picked there. It's really rough to be in that position. I mean, Nar just has so much oppression, especially when he's ahead. You can't really farm against him. We're going to see a little trade happen in the bot lane. Red team's going to take that top tower. And I think they are going to be able to get this rep just because GP's not up. We do know Caitlyn's bot lane, and they're outnumbered. So it's going to be rough right there. But I think they definitely need to slow this game down if they do want to come back from this. They need to start picking their fights a little bit more wisely, and I think they need to win in numbers. And it's rough, just especially with those TPs on both teams. But GP does have his ult to help the skirmish. If they do pick an even skirmish, GP could drop his ult anywhere on the map, so it could start hitting this Jhin right now if he wanted to. But just because they are behind right now, it is a little sketchy. They don't want to burn too many resources.
Right.
I think they understand that if they have one more real bad fight, it's going to be like almost unplayable to come back from. It's rough in this position. They have to slow the game down, farm up, and, you know, do their best to come back from this.
Well, we'll see how that folds out as we just hit that 16-minute threshold mark.
Yeah, these games. This game is already honestly very high intensity, very fast paced for what we've been seeing recently in the past couple weeks. Ever since the season started, it's been kind of a meta where it's like, kind of scale up. You don't really care what happens in the early game, and as long as your team has a better team fight, some better champions, the game is secured. You know, that's why we had those Maokais building full AP. We had the ADCs farming up. I mean, people have been saying these past couple weeks that ADC is like terrible, and I think that's why they dropped these buffs for ADC, but I think they might be a little much. I mean, we'll have to see how it pans out. But I will say it's really rough dealing with, even though in this game it's not very apparent, if there was a fed Caitlyn or a super fed Jhin, it would be very difficult to deal with, especially with no apparent tank for GCU, and the only tank for Weber State being that Gnar only when he's in his rage mode.
Yeah. Turns into a beast.
Yeah, this game is going to be definitely decided with the vision, I think, moving forward. I think next game they need to focus a little bit better on that vision, because I feel like all of these early game kills coming from Weber State is that they have been catching them off guard. GCU doesn't know where they are half the time, and because of that, they've been making risky plays that just don't pan out their way.
Yeah.
And you know, these are all easy to come back from. It's just a little bit of a vision. Like right now, he has no clue that Rek'Sai's standing in that bush, and so because of this, it's going to be rough for them to know where the enemy team is and be able to outplay them. Victor probably going to get dived here. He's going to have to run away probably. Going to drop the Jhin ult. Victor's going to flash. Victor is going to get out. They're just going to take this tower probably. They could push forward a little bit, but it is going to get a little bit sketchier the more they go. Victor's going to have to reset here. Health bar a little bit thin.
So it makes me wonder, like, an unfortunate, you know, start for GCU right here, but what do they do going into these next 2 games?
I think it's definitely based on vision. They have to fix their vision. They have to get better eyes on this enemy jungler, especially now. I think it's great to learn from this. Their jungler is very oppressive early. He's very good at catching people off guard. So I think they just got to prepare for this, and that this could be done with any champion. They could ban Rek'Sai if they need be, but I think either way, knowing just how junglers like this play, he could easily switch to Zac or someone else, and Zac could get in there just as easily, jumping over walls onto GCU. And I feel like it's just a certain playstyle that GCU either hasn't played too much against or they're not too prepared for. And I think this is easily fixable, especially for them. I think they want to either choose to have a full early game comp where they're like having either like a Draven in the bot lane, a Kalista, like someone very oppressive, and they're like looking for these bot lane skirmishes, because I think in this game especially we did see some good gameplay from GCU's bot lane, and I wish they did play around them a little bit more, but there was way more in the top lane. We're going to see the kill come out on Morgana there. She's going to get picked. Spec going to try to get out. Rek'Sai going to ult on top of him and kill him, and he's going to knock up the Victor. Can we see a triple kill here? Victor going to drop that ult and get out. They're going to try to pick up the kills, but they're not going to be able to. That's going to be 4 of them dead, and Victor having to reset. And the Rift's going to get dropped. So this is now probably, worst case scenario. They couldn't really out-macro them. Weber State did catch them once again, and it's just so rough for them moving forward. They definitely, in this position, are going to have, be down on their luck. They had some rough fights, and I think they just really have to keep their head clears and, try to move forward. This game is still winnable. It's just, very difficult. They're down 10k gold. It's like it's one of the worst positions to be in, especially as a league player. You never want to be in this position. It's so uncomfortable. But I think if you are able to play while uncomfortable, while behind, if you're able to do that, then I think you're a great team. It's very difficult to play while you're behind.
So basically, that first beginning, the start of the game, is one of the most important parts.
Yeah. It's very rough, especially with this team. We saw the flashes come out from Syndra and Xin Zhao right there. Xin Zhao did fall just because they did have some backup. But, I mean, yeah, moving forward, there's pretty much 2 ways to play. You could play for early game, you could play for late game, or you could play for some mid-game skirmishes. Both of these teams kind of looked like they had some of an identity, but they both had early game junglers and some early game skirmish characters, but they didn't really do anything with it just because the Caitlyn, Morgana, Jhin, Karma were all bot lane first 10 minutes, didn't really want to move too much unless they had a clear reason to. And then we saw a lot of resources spent top. I mean, Nara and GP were skirmishing so much. And I think I do, from GCU especially, want to see them in this next game play a little bit more towards that bot side. Put a little bit of hope and, put some confidence in Clyde and, hope that Clyde can win that 2v2 bot, maybe win a 3v3 bot. But I think we do need to assess, what went wrong this game for each team. I think, especially for Weber State, they kind of want to keep this momentum moving forward. They're going to keep trying to win in the early game. They want to catch them off guard. I think right now their main objective is, keeping them off vision. Like right now, GCU, I don't even think they're aware of this Baron happening right now. We're going to see them just melt it.
We lose a little bit of feed right there. We'll get right back in for you guys. Hold tight for us. That Baron will most likely go down to Weber.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we'll figure it out. GCU, obviously a rough start to the day, but,
yeah.
knowing
It's
their
never
history,
good to start on a defeat, but, with that happening, I think it is really telling of, like, what the position they're in is. And I think it's almost better for them, especially at the start of the season. You never want to run into these issues later in the season. It's always nice to start with a 2-0, but I think it's great that they're kind of seeing these little flaws in their gameplay here and there. And, this was all fixable. Like, this game, it's not like Weber State played better, but, this isn't like a GCU, stomp,
Yeah.
I think it's great. Both teams played pretty well in those first few minutes. We did see some even trades. It was 1-1, and we actually were up for a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was just rough because then we didn't know how to respond to when they were doing oppressive things on the other side of the map. So even though we do get a kill bot lane, we lose 2 top or something like that. So I think we just got to learn how to better spend our resources, especially, with that early game oppression on Xin Zhao. I do hope to see some more focus towards the bot lane. It was a little bit passive that game, just with Morgana, Karma. It's rough to, play into that and be super, it's just farming simulator at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Sit there and hit the minions. Nothing much. Maybe get a kill, but I think it would be really cool to see an oppressive ADC, you know, Draven, Kalista, something of that sort, and see GCU kind of lean more into that bot lane and just, you know, camp bot lane now. Like, we know that ADC got buffed. Let's see what they can do. Let's camp this bot lane. Let's get some 3v3 skirmishes down there, and let's see what they can do. You know, I just want to see what this new patch can bring us, because I think the game has really changed. Even though they only had like maybe some item changes, I think 7 champions got nerfed, 7 or 8. It was a lot of champions though, and like 3 buffs. So
and yeah, I was gonna say any buffs.
Yeah, they did like 3 buffs to match it, but honestly, not on anybody too important to the meta. I think Zoe got a buff, Andy got a buff, and someone else on the tip of my tongue, can't remember. But either way, like no champion that's objectively like great right now. So I think it's just we gotta lean into this ADC buff that they did with the items and then the characters and stuff like that. And they just really gotta see what these guys can do, because I think especially with this new patch, it's going to be really weird. Lucian Nami got gutted, so they're not as good anymore. It's going to be, we're going to be steering away from Lucian Nami. Zeri Yumi's not going to be as good. Yumi got nerfed. Down with the cat is what they say. So besides that, I think it's just going to be really interesting to see how this next game goes. And if we get to a game 3, I really do hope GCU can come back.
Yeah.
I think they definitely have a chance. They just got to, you know, have some talks with each other, and you know, I think it seems like they don't have enough communication across the board. Whether that bot lane and that ADC are talking all the time, that's great, but you need a little bit more communication across the board. Where's the jungler on the map? Do we know where the jungler is? If we don't know where the jungler is, can we even do this, you know?
Right.
Like if they're going for a 2v2 bot, don't know where the jungler is in the past 2 minutes, it's like that's very risky if you don't have your jungler nearby. Their jungler can jump you, and it's like 3v2, and it's like that could go south real quick. So.
That's right. So in regards to like lineup changes, I guess, do we see GCU make a difference, or is it just more communication?
Yeah, I think it could go either way. I think the draft was okay. I do wish they had hard CC besides Morgana. I think Morgana's great, but it is a little bit rough when you're in that fight, and, you know, GP is not, like, we don't have a full tank either because GP. I think GP is great in some situations. I don't know if this situation was the best. I would have probably preferred, you know, this is coming from a tank player, so take it as you will, but I do think I would have preferred something like an Ornn in that situation, or if they're leaning towards early game, even a Shen, because Shen, you know, level 6 can just TP bot and change a game off that whim. And, you know, besides that, I think any tank would have been really good there, just because it does help a little bit more with team fights. They usually have some form of CC. Ornn with his Ram, Malphite jumping in, just something of that sort, just because the only CC we really have is the bubble from Victor, which is a long cooldown. We have Jin Zhao's knockup, which is a little bit difficult. You have to hit them 3 times. And then we have Morgana's Q, and that's also, you know, early game 10-second cooldown. So I do hope that they lean a little bit more into full early game, full late game, you scaling comp, stuff like that, and maybe we'll just see a little bit of a clearer idea in what they want to do.
Well, we will see. We're not sure exactly what's going on. We'll figure it out or not. Yeah, but
Okay.
just hang with us. We're going to take a quick break.
Yep.
Powered by Rockstar, sponsored by Canes. Hang with us. This is GCU League of Legends. We will be right back. Welcome back, folks. Sorry for those technical difficulties. But this is GCU Esports League of Legends, powered by Rockstar, sponsored by Canes. We are getting right into this next match. We're not starting there, but we're taking our picks right now, and we're looking at the bans and stuff like that. So we'll get into those right here. Run it down for me, Michael.
All right.
Run
so
it out
this
for me.
draft, it's already starting strong. Weber. So we've corrected ourselves. It's Weber State. Weber has first pick Jin, so they actually are like comfortable with that Jin pick. So that's a bit interesting because I know sometimes Jin is like not very first pickable, but I guess they're confident with it. Maybe their ADC plays a ton of Jin, stuff like that. They do respond with a Mumu and a Aphelios. Aphelios is I don't think he's in the best state right now. I haven't seen him post item changes, so I am curious how that's going to pan out. I do know Aphelios is really good in the right hands. Not my hands, I'll tell you that much. I'm not very good with Aphelios, but I know he is really good in the competitive scene. And if you know how to use him and utilize his weapons, he switches weapons. It's very useful for the team. Amumu, I don't know where that's going. It could be support, it could be jungle. I see Talia, but Talia is also known to go jungle and mid lane. So that's kind of rough to know where those are going. Amumu, Talia could go honestly either way. We are going to see Lee Sin picked by Weber, and Lee Sin is really oppressive early game. So I think I was right to say that they are going to be sticking with that early game oppression. They're going to be wanting to roam the map, catch people off guard, get some early game picks. I mean, Lee Sin is like the carry champion. They want him to carry this early game. Stomp it so that it's not even playable later, and I think that's kind of what happened last game. So it does look like they're trying to stick with this theme. We're going to see some bans of Jax and Gnar, so they don't want to see Gnar again top lane, and Jax is just always really strong.
Gnar was running. He was running top lane.
Yeah, Gnar is really strong. He's so oppressive, especially because he can build up his rage, turn into the big guy, go down there, stun people, run him down. We're going to see an Echo hovered and actually locked in by GCU, so, I mean, the way I think this is I think it's a Mumu support, and then Echo mid and Talia jungle. Talia and Echo could be switched, but they definitely have a bit of AP damage because, I mean, if Mumu builds that Zanya's, Talia, Echo, and Mumu are all building AP, that's going to be a lot of damage coming out from them. I do like it, though, because Mumu is tanky, so we do have a tanky pick from GCU. I think that's going to help them. That's also a lot of hard CC. I think that's going to help them a lot when they're getting into these fights, especially with like a Lee Sin trying to be really oppressive. Mumu could stun him, lock him down with his ult, stuff like that. We're going to see an Aatrox picked by Weaver. Aatrox is in a weird state right now. He was dominating the comp scene the past year, and then
I was going to say, I remember
him.
I remember him being absolutely
he's a monster. He's a monster. He's a Darkin. He's a monster. He turns into World Ender when he ults, and he is a lot of damage, a lot of healing, stuff like that. He has been nerfed, though, and it's kind of rough for him, especially this last patch. They actually nerfed some of the items he uses more. I'm curious. I think we might see either Gore Drinker or Eclipse on him this game. I'm curious after the item changes because they nerfed Eclipse, buffed Gore Drinker. We're going to see maybe a Camille actually hovered. I like Camille into Aatrox, so that would be a really interesting pick. And I also would love that for their team comp a lot more if they do pick it because Camille, awesome, they do lock it. So Camille is just so good at getting around the map. She has a lot of mobility. She can lock someone down and like kind of separate them from their team in a team fight. And I think that's kind of what they need here. It's going to be, honestly, the team fights are a little weird here because we do have Swain, Aatrox, Braum, and those are going to be some like good team fight characters. They're going to be able to get in there, do some damage. Swain's going to be able to stay locking down people. I think there's a bit more CC just for Weber here, only because, Echo's W, if he can hit a huge shield and lock people down in time, that would be crazy. Amumu has his stun, Talia has her rock throw, Aphelios, if he does have his slowing gun, his gravity gun, he can root someone. Camille's going to be able to lock someone down. There's a lot of CC in this game in general, but I think Weber does have a little bit more with Jin. They have the Aatrox W, they have Braum knockup, Swain hook. It's going to be some weird matchups here, honestly. I do believe it's going to be Aphelios and Mumu in the bot lane versus Jin and Braum. Don't really know how that's going to go. I mean, Braum is really good at disengaging, so I think it's going to be rough for Mumu to get in. I think their best chance, honestly, might be a little bit earlier, but it's rough just because Aphelios doesn't have super good early game pressure. So I honestly wish it was a little bit different. I think maybe Aphelios Lulu would have been a little bit better here, something like that. Jin Braum, though, I know is a good combo. Braum has great CC. Jin can follow up on it really well. He has some good damage output. I think it's going to, once again, come down to how these jungles pan out. I am curious if it's an Echo mid or Echo jungle, Talia mid, Talia jungle. So I think that could have a lot of influence on the game because Talia is a little bit better at singling people off, especially with her ultimate. She could separate an ADC from their support. She could separate the jungler from a fight, stuff like that. It could go either way, though. It actually is going to be Talia jungle. Interesting. So yeah, she's definitely going to be trying to get some picks if it's in the top lane or the mid lane, blocking off that lane with her ultimate. And Lee Sin, once again, I just want to go on a whim and say this guy's going to go and try to do the same thing he did last game. He kind of dominated in that jungle. After the first, like, maybe 6-7 minutes, it was relatively even, but, once he got going, he was really going. And he was jumping around everywhere, denying vision. He was jumping on that mid laner, making him flash, coming back 2 minutes later and killing him. It's just, he knows how to play oppressive junglers well, I'll give him that much. But I think GCU does need to be a little bit more aware of this game. They got to be like a little bit more locked in, focused. They got to worry about their vision at all times. I think Amumu should roam a little bit in this match, and it's gonna be a lot better for them, in my opinion.
Well, we will see how this plays out. Obviously, It was a little bit of a rough start for GCU last game. I do think that, I don't know, I mean, I know they have chemistry, obviously, together. They've been playing together for so long.
Yeah.
But this is like their first time as like the newer team coming back into this off of that NECC league win and that championship win. They won the whole thing undefeated. It's absolutely amazing. Honestly, we should talk about that, but we won't talk about that till later. But coming into this next game, Weber up 1-0 right now, best of 3. So right now GCU needs to tie this, obviously, to throw this into game 3 so that they can reverse sweep.
Yeah.
We'll see how this plays out. Whole new team composition. Do we see any repeating characters that we did in the last game?
I mean, besides Jin, nothing like really stands out. It's just Jin. He's going to be back in here. I think that does show he's really comfortable on that pick. And maybe if it's a comfort pick, ban it. I know a lot of people, especially me. If I'm in a competitive scene, I'm like, I just want to go to my guy. This is my guy. I want to go to Jin. I want to go to Shen. I want to go to the characters I like. But if they ban it and throw him off, if they can get to next game and ban that Jin, maybe just see what else that guy has in his bag of goodies, I think it would be good for them, and kind of off-put him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I had to pick a character, I know Caitlyn is a character. Is she popular right now?
Yeah, she's pretty popular. Caitlyn actually, she's gotten a lot of popularity because of, I don't know if you know, the Netflix show Arcane came out a couple years ago.
Oh, I do. I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah, it's a great watch. I know a lot of people love it. I think it actually got a boom of players just because people watched the show and they loved it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's great. It's Caitlyn, Vi, a few other characters are in it, Heimerdinger, stuff like that. And Caitlyn was kind of the main character, so I know she got really popular with that. She's a great character. She was in that game last game, and obviously she locked people down with her traps. Got a kill by Clyde in that early game, and she's really cool. Honestly, I think she's a popular first character for some people.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people pick her first, like as one of their first champions.
Okay.
So.
Well, I mean, if I decide to hop in,
there you go.
Maybe I'll choose Caitlyn. I choose Caitlyn
Caitlyn
because I'll shout out my sister right now. My sister's name is Caitlyn.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Hey, works out.
So if I do, I feel like I have to choose that person.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I do want Aatrox, right?
Yeah, Aatrox.
Aatrox. I mean, watching him last year, I can't remember who played him. Was it C-Splash? Did C-Splash
It might have been C-Splash. I know he does play champions like that.
Yeah.
And he does perform on them. So Aatrox is just a monster. I mean, in the lore, he's this, world ender, god killer, like such crazy stuff. So to see him on the Rift and, doing those cool combos, knocking people up, slaying people, he's one of the more fun champions to watch. And I think this game is going to be a lot more fun just because we didn't have too much of that last game. The Rek'Sai and the Xin Zhao were going at it, but Gnar and GP, they kind of just throw things at each other. In the bot lane, they were throwing things at each other. This game's going to be a lot more action-packed, in my opinion. We have the Amumu to jump in there, bandage toss. He's going to ult when he hits 6 and lock people down. It's going to be really cool to see these combos come out, and I think it's going to probably be a bot-side decided game. But I will say, if Aatrox does get ahead, he's still a monster. Despite the nerfs, I mean, it's still Aatrox. At the end of the day, we're still looking at Aatrox.
Yeah.
He gets some kills, he gets some gold, some items rolling. He's going to be a menace, to say the least.
Well, you're an expert in League of Legends. Do you have any other games you play? Do you play any other games?
Yeah, I mean, I dabble. I play with my friends on whatever they're playing. I do like a lot of solo games though. I like the individual adventure games.
Yeah.
My favorite games are like Zelda, Dishonored, stuff like that.
Did you play Breath of the Wild?
Yeah, I did. Breath of the Wild's great. Looking forward to Breath of the Wild 2. That's coming out hopefully this year. We'll see. It's been delayed a few times, but
we want it.
Hopefully this year.
It's
a great Zelda's just a great series. One of my first games was Ocarina of Time. On the I think I actually played it on. I think it was an emulator because at the time I don't think I had a GameCube. It was either on a GameCube, my cousin's GameCube, or it was an emulator. But still, It was so fun to play. I remember I fell in love with Zelda and the whole world and the fantasy stuff. And I think those RPGs, you know, the role-playing games that kind of put me into this League of Legends where they're all in a fantasy world.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We're a few seconds out from getting into this game. Personally, right now, I am all over Overwatch for some reason.
Yeah.
I have no idea why.
Hey,
and
it's enticing.
It
really
is.
invites you. Like, it's all the cool characters, the skins, stuff like that. It's
the
just
ability.
awesome.
Oh, man. I don't want to say what my main is because I know I'll get flamed for it because he doesn't take a lot of skill. And
Who's
just by that, you can hear it's probably Junkrat.
Oh, Junkrat.
I know how to aim with it, like people in midair. Like I can kill Faras. I can eliminate Faras.
Junkrat's a fun character. I'll have you know, I
character.
actually first started playing him too. I think Junkrat's a little bit better than like Soldier, because like Soldier, you know, it's kind of just like boring gameplay. I think Junkrat's interactive and a bit fun.
Yeah, I like his movement.
Spamming across the map.
Yeah, right. It's a good game. But lately also, we've been doing 14-player lobbies of Among Us late at night.
That's a large
I don't even know
lobby.
how we got that many people.
I think they updated it.
Yeah.
Because we used to be 10.
But it's like a full lobby,
That's
14
fun.
people.
Yeah,
just the other day, I mean, I'll just throw this out there. I was imposter 6 times in a row.
Okay, that's crazy.
In
the 14-player lobby.
In the 14-player lobby.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, pause on that. We'll get into the match right here for a second. We're going to see them maybe do the same tactic. I'm curious if they're going to try to get a pick again. It doesn't look like it. I see a Mumu walking bot lane, Camille walking top lane. Looks like they're just going to standard 5-point. Standard 5-point is just going to be, you know, all 5 of the players standing at a different point in the map so that nobody can necessarily invade and get some extra vision. So you're going to see Camille and Aatrox top. Lee Sin's going to be in this top side. We're going to see Swain and Echo mid, and then Braum Jin in the bot lane, and as well as Aphelios and Amumu. And this game, I think it's definitely going to pick up, hopefully a little bit sooner. I think Braum and Amumu with those ignites. Aphelios actually has exhaust. I do like exhaust a little bit more than heal in this game. Maybe for both sides, actually. I think Jin would have done a little bit more well off with exhaust, just because I don't think he needs the heal too much. I mean, if Echo or Camille or a fed Aphelios gets on him, I think the exhaust would really help him. And that's why I like Aphelios taking it. He's going to be able to help it at least now. If a fed Lee Sin or a fed Aatrox gets on him, that exhaust will give him a little bit of an edge.
I like this guy right now. He just looks like a brawler.
Yeah, Lee Sin is, you know, he's the blind fighter. He's gonna get in here. I think they're gonna actually invade. So they're gonna invade the blue side. They're gonna take that blue buff, which is gonna make Talia's life a little bit harder. I don't think they have vision on that, so that is gonna mean that Talia's gonna have to either try to steal his blue or sag it. We already see a little skirmish up top lane. I do think Camille wins that early game, but she did take a tower shot, which makes it really rough. We're going to see if Mike can maybe bring it back from here, though.
And just a quick thing to notice, GCU is going to be on the red side for this match, as they were on blue last match.
Yes, we swapped sides for the match, so we do see... Oh, actually, a stun comes out from Swain. He's going to hit level 2, get a little poke. Doesn't have electrocute, so it's not going to do too much damage, but just enough to make Echo, you know, walk backwards, hide for a second. Still see some oppression from this Camille here. He's going to actually get a Grasp proc. That's really good. He's going to make Aatrox back off, do some damage. We're going to see a hook come out from Amumu. He's going to get some damage out on that Braum. Braum's going to put up his shields, take some damage. Jin's going to actually have his 4th shot, lay some damage down. Ignites come out. Lee Sin is going to be here for this fight, though. Amumu's going to flash, but not going to get out. He got caught by Jin W. And he's going to be able to walk out. That is a very scary situation, though. I mean, it's a 3v2. You guys, I think Amumu was in the right to, you know, immediately flash out of there. He does have Hex Flash, which is going to give him a little flash every time he has it up, and that's going to help them if they do need it for something. But I think, honestly, if Lee Sin's not there, they might get a kill. It's a little bit rough. Going to see some damage come out. Oh, Aatrox is going to be kept top by Camille. He's going to take the tower shot to keep him there. It's going to make it rough. He actually might... Ooh. They're looking for a dive here. It's going to be so rough because Camille has... Nice. Talia's going to take the damage. Talia's going to get the first blood. That puts Mike in a great spot. This is a huge wave. Aatrox is going to miss a decent amount of it. He's going to TP back as fast as possible. We're going to see a little skirmish happen in the mid lane. Swain's going to lay some damage down. Echo has to get out.
She will.
That's a good advantage, though, for Mike, especially as Camille into Aatrox. I think Camille and Aatrox is a rough matchup for Aatrox, and I think that's kind of why he took it, just because he was trying to counterpick him. And, you know, if he does have the TP advantage, he's going to TP back, I think, right now. So that's both TPs from Echo and Camille. And so now they're kind of even on TPs. Swain's going to probably TP to lane. We're going to see a flash come out from Aphelios as he does almost get caught by that Jin. And let's see how this fight comes out top lane now that Camille has some XP and some gold up on him. He's going to miss his E. He's probably just going to back out here. Looking for that true damage, but he can't quite get it. Going to keep proccing that grasp, though, so that he could get some permanent health, do a little bit more damage. Going to see Echo get caught here, get a little combo on him. Both going to trade some health, some damage. And like I said before, Amumu's actually roaming the map in this game. I really like that for Amumu. He does have a lot of CC. And, you know, even if it's just a bandage toss in the mid lane at Swain, if he does lock Swain down, I think it's way easier to get a kill. And showing Amumu like roaming the map is going to scare the enemy team. Because not only do you have a jungler now roaming, you have Amumu running around the map throwing bandages at people. So I think that just puts GCU in kind of an oppressive state in this early game.
Well, they have the 1-0 lead just coming up on this 5-minute mark.
Yeah, I think that's a great first blood, especially for Talia. She's a character that kind of needs some gold, some levels to get ahead. I'm going to see a skirmish happen right here. Aphelios is going to try to get some damage down. Oh my goodness, Talia's going to hit the stun. And is Jhin going to fall? They're going to try to trade Amumu. Amumu is going to fall. Jhin can't quite get down. He's living with 1 health.
So low right now. Can they get him? So
oh
close.
my goodness, and I think they're going to both get out. Oh, Echo comes for the cleanup.
Behind.
Oh my goodness, and he flashes and he kills him. Awesome.
The flank
and
from
that's
Echo.
A great roam from Echo there. I mean, that puts GCU in a really, like, this is what I wanted to see, you know. This is what I was saying. Put those resources bot lane. Let's get the bot lane ahead and let's see what they could do. And I think this is so awesome. We see Amumu, he did fall there. Unfortunately, they didn't get both of the enemy bot laners, but they did get some kills. And, you know, I think that's a great spot to be in the first, you know, 5-6 minutes.
Yeah, and they have that 1K gold lead right now along with the 2 kills just coming up on this 10-minute mark. It's a good first start game for this GCU team to come back.
I mean, even if he kills Aatrox here, if he dies, it's worth. So what he's doing there is he's setting it up so that Aatrox is losing XP and he's losing gold because those minions are going to push into his tower. So that's going to put Mike in a better space only because he gets the kill and he's still ahead. So I think it's just going to keep pushing him a little bit more ahead piece by piece, and I think that's a great tactic to have here. I think GCU's in a good spot, and honestly, if they just keep this moving forward, I think they'll see way better results this game. And this is what I love to see, you know. It's like the worst feeling, you know, when you see a team, you know, kind of mental boom. They're down on their luck, they're down on their hopes, and they come into a game 2 and they're kind of like letting the be a punching bag. They're kind of letting the team beat them up, but they're actually putting up a great fight against Weaver in this game, and I really love to see that. I really love to see this early game roaming. I think they turned way more into that early game, especially with Talia, Echo, Amumu, and it's proving well for them so far. So let's just hope that it, you know, keeps working moving forward.
Well, that's good right now. GCU sticking strong, looking good, and hopefully can keep this momentum going.
Yeah, I do want to note, though, that we did burn a lot of sums in that bot lane fight earlier. So if we do see a gank from Lee Sin anytime in the next, you know, minute, I think Aphelios' flash will not be up. We're going to see a little engage there, though. We do know that Braum burned his shield, but they're just going to probably farm this wave up, get some health, get some gold, and maybe nothing in the next minute or 2. But we do see that Aatrox is being oppressive top lane. Echo's going to miss that on Swain, which is going to be unfortunate. But, yeah, this is definitely a better game for GCU so far. I do love seeing the improved performance. We are going to see a gank come out from Braum, actually, in Lee Sin. So they're trying to take some notes. You know, they want that 3v1 mid lane where there's not even a chance any of them could die. You know, 3 versus 1. They're sending the support. They're sending the jungle. They're trying to kill this Echo, not let him snowball. Echo is going to be one of those characters. You know, if he gets 2 or 3 kills, he's going to be running this game like it's nothing. He's going to be running across the map, getting as many kills as possible. And I am curious how they're going to set up for this first Drake, because I think this first Drake will actually tell a lot for the game, as whoever gets the gold, whoever gets the kills, whoever gets the Drake, I think it's going to be really decisive moving forward. A little skirmish in the top lane. Camille's going to trade a lot of her health bar for that. It's going to be rough, only because now Aatrox is going to have Cryo, so if Camille does reset, Camille can will have to reset, then Aatrox can just walk bot. He's going to trade some of it back, though, in that little trade, which is going to be good for him.
Do we know which Drake is up right now?
Yeah, so this Drake is the Hextech Drake. He's one of the newer Drakes as well. He is, when you kill him, you get attack speed and ability haste. We're going to see, Swain's going to pop his ult. He's going to not fall, actually. He's going to stay alive, and that's going to be huge for them. We are going to see a kill go out on Jhin, but we still are missing two. Amumu and Echo have dropped. And that's going to be another kill on Aphelios. That's actually really good for them. They're all going to be really low. So it is debatable whether they can do this Drake or not. It's going to depend on if this Talia can live. She's actually going to fall. Wow, Swain is going to hit his W and his pull. That's going to be really rough for GCU. That was a really good fight from both teams, and honestly, it could have went either way. I think there was a couple misplays just like in the micro, but realistically, at the end of the day, that was a great performance for Weber. You know, they didn't die. Swain almost fell halfway through that fight, and you know, he stuck it out, burned his ultimate. That's going to give him some health back, and he was able to get some kills. And so now that puts Weber in a more dominant state. And when we look at the scoreboard here, we're going to see that Swain does have, he is 3-0. We're going to see that Aatrox actually does have a bounty. He's getting some of that more farm in the top lane. He's going to be 2-2. We're going to see Lee Sin 2-1. So we have some bounties actually on the map. That's great. When we look at these bounties, we do see opportunity, especially for GCU. Even though they are coming off that fight and that Drake, they're going to be 1k gold down. I mean, if they get any good fight, especially with the Swain, they kill the Swain, they get 600 gold. They kill the top laner or the jungle, they get 450 gold, and that's going to put them in a better spot. So I think it's definitely going to play a little bit more towards top lane now, only because I think Camille does know Tilia's here. I think they might have an idea that Lee Sin's top lane, and this 2v2 would actually be really interesting, only because Camille and Aatrox have been skirmishing so much in the first 10 minutes, and it would be great to see one of them have a clear advantage. We do know that Aatrox has a bounty, so if Camille can claim that, I think she would be much better off.
Yeah, and this Drake hasn't been slain yet, and I'm not sure. I mean, do you have any idea who's going to be able to go and take care of it?
I do think the first Drake is going to be towards Weber, only because they have put themselves in a space where Swain has a lot of gold now. Swain got 3 kills. That's huge for him. He has a lot of gold on him now. And if it's an even fight, I think 100% Weber takes it unless they have a huge misplay. But it could definitely go to GCU. I think GCU has to try to play numbers here. And I think Camille either has to get a solo kill top and roam down, or maybe poke Aatrox down so that we know Aatrox has to reset. He doesn't have TP, and Camille has the clear advantage to walk to the bot and to the dragon. We're going to see them start it, actually. Don't know if they're going to be able to. I don't think they're going to be able to finish it, only because we do see all of Weber coming. And once again, Aatrox is coming down. We don't have Camille's upgraded teleport yet. They're going to have to probably sack this.
Oh,
they're going to drop that kill on Aphelios. Echo's going to flash out. Swain's ultimate going to keep running because he's still attacking that Echo. It's going to make it really hard for him to get out. Amumu going to actually get back in there, get an ultimate off. He's going to have to flash out as well. Both of them are going to live, and that's going to be a shutdown for Amumu. He's not the best person to get that gold. It will help him be tankier in upcoming fights, but it is a little rough to see so much gold go to a little mummy. You know, he's going to be the tank. He's not really wanting to have all that damage. If Echo got the kill, I think it would have been way more important for GCU, and it would have been way more essential for them to get ahead in these upcoming fights. We're going to see the TP come out. Talia's actually going to try to do something about this fight. Not going to work out. She's going to get rooted. We're going to see a stun come out from Echo. Oh, they're actually going to get a kill. That's going to pick on Braum. That's a kill for Echo. Great for him. And that's honestly worth. I mean, in that scenario, they did get poked down, but at the end of the day, Echo's coming out with some gold, and that's really useful.
GCU just doing their best to stay alive right now.
Yeah, I think
the Drake will go to Weeper, though.
Yeah, their performance is going to be way better in this game, though. I mean, they're playing from behind in a much more efficient way. They're roaming this map. They're finding those ins and outs whenever they can. And although some of the fights haven't gone their way, I don't think it's anything drastic. You know, I think they're playing way better, and this is going to help them. Even if it's, you know, not today, I think it'll help them in the long run as they learn how to play in these positions where they don't know how to respond to the enemy team. They're responding well, though. I do think that with this Amumu roaming, it's just so much it's so much help on the map. I mean, they have the Amumu, they have the Talia that can, you know, fly over the wall with her ult. Camille could jump over walls, and even if I mean, Aphelios isn't really looking to fight these guys in the bot lane. He's kind of just farming. He wants 2-3 items, and once he hits 3 items, whether he's fed or not, it's gonna be a good spike for him. I think especially with these IE changes, he might be able to do Infinity Edge 3rd item, and that would definitely help him kill these squishies, you know, I think Jhin would fall a lot easier. I think Lee Sin would fall a lot easier. It definitely is going to be rough, though. If we take a look at the scoreboard here, actually, I think we could see that Lee Sin is still sitting at two kills, 1 death, so that's 150 gold bounty. I think a lot of that does come from his CS, though. We're going to see a bit of a CS diff as far as spec goes. He's going to be down 25 CS as he is at 69, and Lee Sin is at 94. So that's just a rough patch for him because he does want that gold. He does want to keep farming, but he also is trying to roam as much as possible. And that's why Lee Sin is just so oppressive. He could farm, and he could get in and out of lanes in a blink. Let's see a skirmish happen top lane. It is going to be maybe going either way. Oh, it's so close. And Camille's actually going to dodge and kill the Aatrox. That's a huge shutdown, and that's going to put him in a great state for the rest of this game. That is awesome.
Wow.
Unreal. I mean, come on.
Aqua.
I mean, 9 times out of 10, if I'm Camille there, I'm kind of just like sitting there twiddling my thumbs, like hoping I just die at a decent time. But I mean, to come back from that is honestly a great play on Mike's end. We're gonna see a skirmish come out on the bot lane. It's gonna be rough. Swin's gonna pop his ult. Jin's gonna pop his ult as well. We're gonna see Braum low, but he's gonna walk out. Lee Sin gonna run down this Amumu. Lee Sin is gonna take down Amumu. Exhaust popping on Swain. It's gonna be rough as Clyde falls.
Just gonna have to back out right here. Looks
yeah,
like.
I think they're gonna have to sack this. Maybe this whole tower. I mean, it really depends. Yeah, that is rough. It's gonna be a kill for Jhin there.
Oh.
We're gonna see yet another kill drop on the Talia. That's gonna be really, really rough. I think in that situation, they kind of had to maybe sack the dragon there, and you know, even though that is like second Drake coming up, they kind of just have to give it. You know, it's really rough playing, especially with your Camille not there. She is a big part of these team fights. They almost picked up a kill there. Maybe gonna be able to chase down this Lee Sin. It is a little rough. It's gonna get stunned. Probably not. But you know, I think especially with that kill, Aqua's gonna be, you know, having a big presence in these fights. I think if him and Amumu could get on the enemy team, it's gonna be really rough for them to deal with. We're gonna see him take that top tower probably, just because he cannot respond to it. Doesn't have his TP up, and that's gonna be first turret going to Weaver. They are going to be up 3k gold here, which is really good for them. But honestly, it doesn't feel like it. Like after the last fight, I think it honestly could have gone either way. It's not very apparent that they're this far ahead. And who knows, maybe in the next fight we'll see it a little bit more. But I do think that with the right fights and, you know, out macroing, you know, having 5v4s, 4v3s, whatever numbers they can get, I think GCU can definitely, you know, get these bounties on this enemy team and, you know, bring it back. They're really looking at this Rift Herald up here, actually.
Numbers are important in a fight. Having obviously, I mean, it's easy to say having one, but if you can manage to, you know, at least survive against a 2v3, that's got to be some favor.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, even if they wait like 20 seconds, maybe not even, maybe like 10 seconds, Camille maybe has the opportunity to recall and then get back into that fight really quick. And if even if they sack the dragon there, I think GCU has the chance to keep them there after they kill the dragon. And if Camille could get there in time, then she can definitely like do some damage. She's coming off a bounty, especially after killing that Aatrox. And I mean, they have a huge chance. I mean, she's chunking that Swain as we see there. She definitely is a force to be reckoned with. I think if they do have a way into this game to win, I think it's definitely through Aqua. I mean, Camille's just such a strong champ.
Yeah, and they got that other Drake, so one apiece now. Each team has a Drake.
Yeah, I'm glad just because, you know, I think Drake stacking is one of the most annoying things to deal with. I mean, especially as like a top laner or a jungler, it's like once you're behind a couple Drakes, it's like really rough to get back in there if you don't have the right positioning, if you don't have the right numbers, and if your team's just like not ahead. They're going to drop this Rift Herald top, though. They're going to take tower and then just have it hit on the second tower before they sack it. Talia's actually going to try to start a fight here. She's going to put the wall up. We'll see if Camille can get in here from behind. She is not frontlining for them, though, so that's going to make it really rough. Echo's going to flash. We'll see a fight coming from the bot lane. Camille is going to get on top of that Swain. He's going to pick him. This could actually swing towards GCU's way. We're going to see a move try to get out. Camille's going to drop that ult, try to take this Jhin out. Mumu going to get back in there, drop a little bit of damage. Camille really trying to pick him. Camilla's going to get the kill on Braum, which is good, but unfortunately she does fall to the Jhin. And this Jhin is just picking up kills. If we take a look at the scoreboard here, he's going to be looking at 3 kills now, and he has a 300 gold bounty. He's just picking up, you know, any kills, any gold where he can, and it's going to make it rough. Aphelios has been part of these fights, but he's not picking up the kills. So he has 4 assists, and he's just going to be like a good margin behind. He's going to be like slacking in these fights as he is behind on gold. Jin has 3 kills under his belt now. Aphelios is 5 CS up, but I mean not anymore. He's already going to start falling behind. It's going to be rough. He really needs to get either a shutdown or a kill or 2 in these fights for him to become really apparent. He is sitting on Gale Force, and he actually is building Grievous Wounds, which is for that Lee Sin, that Swain, that Aatrox, even that Jin. Like, honestly, their whole team has some healing, and I think they do have to build some Grievous Wounds in some aspect. I do just wish it maybe didn't have to go to Aphelios, because, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, Aphelios is behind. If he's delaying his power spike by buying Grievous Wounds, it's just way more tough for him to get back into the game. I kind of do wish they maybe put some Grievous Wounds on either the jungler or the top laner in some capacity, just because I know both of them are doing pretty well. I mean, Talia did catch up in CS. She's sitting on 5 kills. Camille's sitting on 4 kills, doing fine on CS, maybe a little bit behind. But I do just wish they didn't maybe make, or maybe he made the decision himself, but I don't like the Executioner's Blade on the Aphelios this early.
Well, as we just hit that 20-minute threshold, GCU down a good 4K in gold and four kills right there. So hopefully we can see another good team fight come out from GCU. You know, we're still tied a piece.
Yeah, we're
One
going to see some
dragon
damage
each.
come out actually here from Camille. She's going to get a little bit of poke, and that, you know, that's what she's good for. Aatrox actually going to burst his ult here, which is kind of good for Camille. I mean, he's
wasting it.
Yeah, he's wasting it there. He's going to honestly have to either wait for his teammates to come down. He might be baiting, you know, getting his teammates to come down so they can kill Camille. But also, I mean, that's a cooldown that they have to wait on now. So if they do get a fight sometime soon, I mean, that's Aatrox without an ultimate. So, you know, that's a good thing for them.
Yeah. Good knowledge to have. If the bait worked, I mean, we'll see a fight happen. And
yeah, I mean, I don't
think
anything will happen, only because I don't think GCU is willing to fight right now, which is fine. I think they could farm up a little bit more. But I also like looking at these summoners, and we did know at the time that Swain didn't have TP. Echo does have TP. And, you know, Echo and Swain are top lane. Like, Echo could TP to this fight right now. Swain can't. So I think that's just like a thing GCU has to be working around, is these cooldowns, especially for TPs, ultimates, stuff like that. Like, no ultimate on Aatrox, no TP on Swain. I think we just honestly put our resources bot and go for it.
Yeah.
They aren't going to take it, though. We are going to see Aatrox reset, so they are going to be buying some items as they come back into this fight. But I think they're going to be trying to set up for this next Drake. I think this Drake is going to be a really decisive moment for the game, as even though GCU is behind by a good margin, I think it's totally winnable. I mean, we know this Camille is huge. She's been fighting in these fights and like doing so much damage, especially with her true damage Q. I mean, I think honestly one of her autos on the true damage Q could almost take out all of Jin's health bar. It's just been rough because this Aphelios has been getting picked off. He's super behind in as far as gold goes. He's very weak right now, not doing too much damage. But I think if they can find a way for this Aphelios to get back in the game, I think it's winnable. Gonna see them set up for this Drake a little bit more. Swain's TP is up now, so now they can match. Echo and Swain could both TP in there easily. Gonna see a Mumu get picked here. It's gonna be rough. Gonna get stunned. Gonna drop his ult, but gonna fall. And I think because of that, best course of action is probably gonna be to sack this Drake. It's gonna be rough for them to get in there. They know Echo and Swain both have TP. It's gonna be 5v4. GCU does not want a 5v4 right now. I mean, I think it's just, you know, give this Drake, maybe look for a little bit more gold in the other lanes, try to push a tower or something like that. But it's gonna be that's gonna be a Chemtech Drake to Weaver.
Alrighty, there it is. 2 Drakes, 5-kill lead, and a nice 5K gold lead for Weaver. GCU, I mean, like we said, it's not over until it's over.
Yeah, no, honestly, I think this game, even though the gold deficit is relatively big, I think especially with the bounties, you know, we have a 600 gold bounty on that Lee Sin sitting there, 300 gold bounty on this Jin. I think definitely if we get some damage on the Aphelios, maybe feed the Camille a little bit more. I just think they need some way in. They don't really have an in yet. I think the Camille is really strong in these fights. We're going to see actually an ult drop. They're going to try to pick this, and we're going to see Jin fall. Awesome. That's a kill. That's a shutdown for Echo. They're going to try to follow it up. Aatrox bursting his ult. Gonna try to keep it running as fast as possible. Gonna flash and get the knock up. Aphelios is gonna drop. We're going to see Camille try to get in this fight. She does get stunned for a while. She's going to single up Swain, but fall. Amumu's going to fall as well. Aatrox does get stunned, so he's not going to be able to kill, but he also isn't going to die.
Wow.
And you know, it's in these positions where GCU, it's like, when you're behind, you need to find a way in. You have to make those risky plays, and I think that was a good play to make. It was just, you know, upon execution, it was a little rough around the edges. We did see Camille get stunned for a good 5 seconds. That made it really impossible for her to get a kill. I think if maybe Camille is not hard CC'd as much, I think it's a little bit easier. But yeah, I think definitely if Aphelios has maybe another item under his belt in that fight, it goes another way. It's really rough coming back from this position though. They're going to pick up this Baron, and it's going to make it really difficult. We're going to see a Zhonya's come out, actually. Stun come from the Echo, and he's going to fall to Tibbs. I think the performance in this game from GCU, though, is much more admirable. Just because I think they're playing from behind a lot better. We're going to see Amumu fall here. Bit of a misplay by Amumu. I don't think Amumu has the ability to steal in that situation. We're going to see a shutdown, though, from Talia, so that's good. Yet another pick onto the Camille. It's gonna be rough. See the Lee Sin sit under tower for a second. He's not gonna die. We're gonna see Aphelios fall, and that was honestly a rough decision to make because you know in those situations Baron is a really big objective.
Yeah.
GCU has to decide: do we want to try and steal it, or do we just want to give it?
Yeah.
And it seemed like they kind of made the decision that they wanted to try to steal it, try to maybe get a kill or two in there somewhere. And, you know, that could either go their way or not. In this situation, it did not. But, I mean, it's like I was saying, you know, these situations you have to decide right then and there. Are we going to risk or are we going to, like, just sit here and, you know, let them keep scaling, let them get more gold? And it's rough. It's rough, especially in those situations where everybody's talking over each other. And it's like they're taking Baron, Do we contest? And, you know, somebody had to be in that moment. I'm going to try to steal or I'm not going to, like, or just leave, and it seemed like they couldn't really make a decision. Echo was trying to steal, didn't work out. Amumu was standing in the danger zone, got picked, and that's going to put them in a worse position. They're 9k gold down now. It's going to be a 10 kill deficit, and that Baron is probably going to help them take a few more towers on GCU. Maybe a pick coming here. Going to see an ult come out from Camille. Lee Sin going to take some damage. Camille going to get CC'd yet again, though. There's just so much CC coming from the Aatrox knockups and the Braum. And that's going to be a double kill for Lee Sin. This Lee Sin's going to be huge now. If we take a look at the scoreboard here, Lee Sin is actually sitting on he's sitting on a 700 gold bounty? Yeah, 700 gold bounty. I mean, he's 10 and 1 and 12. He's just I think we've seen, especially from today, the jungler for Weber is, you know, a force to be reckoned with. I mean, he's a monster. He's in this early game, in these skirmishes, even when his team wasn't ahead. I mean, earlier GCU was starting this game really strong, and, you know, Lee Sin just found his way in, whether it was in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, he knew how to get into those team fights and, you know, help his team get ahead. And I really do gotta admire that, but I think this is maybe, they might be able to end here only because the respawns from GCU are so behind.
Yeah. And I think this is what happened last game, unfortunately.
Yeah, we do have this happening again. Okay, we're going to be able to get back in, though. Awesome. We're going to see a shutdown come from Amumu. They're actually going to get a big ult off right there. And Tibbs is going to fall as well, but it's actually great. We're going to see Echo try to get back in there, maybe get another kill. Not going to be able to. He's going to fall. I mean, it's so rough. Talia's oh my goodness, and we're going to see a shutdown from Camille.
There's one.
That's a couple shutdowns. I mean, that gold on Camille is huge.
Rush that. Grab that too.
And you know, those are the risks that, like, when they pay off, they're great. I mean, they lost their Baron. They did sack a lot of towers, you know. They do have access to their base now. But that's, like, a lot of shutdowns, especially with the 1,000 gold on Lee Sin, the bounties on Jhin and Aatrox. Those are going to be good for their team. And, you know, that's like the first step to coming back, you know.
Yeah.
It's not, this doesn't mean they're in, but, you know, they're not out.
Spec's just going to do all that he can against this fourth Drake.
Yeah, you know, these Drakes, they scale. Their health gets stronger and stronger as the game goes on. So he's going to try to 1v1 this bad boy all by himself. I think it's really... I think he does have to try to do that there.
He got it.
Even if he does fall. He actually doesn't. He flashes out, so that's great. But, I mean, even in this situation, it's good to take that Drake. Because, I mean, if they get one more Drake, Weaver, they are at 3 Drakes, and they need 1 more for Soul. And Soul Point is, you know, very difficult, especially with this Chemtech. Chemtech Drake is pretty good. You know, you do more damage the lower health you are. So that's a good thing to have, especially when you have healing champions such as Lee Sin, Jhin, Swain, Aatrox. So I think it is good that they take that Drake. They are gonna contest this game a little bit longer. You know, they're not out, and I like the fight they're putting up.
I do too.
They do have to find some way in. They have to get a pick somewhere. I think they honestly have to play for picks in this situation. They have to get with Echo and Talia and Amumu, and they just have to find someone and kill him, and burn him like 100-0, and then make the fight a 5v4, and from there try to win. I think they're gonna do a fight over this Nexus right here.
By Crystal. That's an inhibitor. I think that's the last one that GCU had.
Yeah, these inhibitors, they make it rough. There's so many super minions going after them. We're going to see Amumu try and get out of that. Camille going to try to get in on some of their carries. Not going to be able to. He's stunned yet again. That hard CC is just so difficult to play around. And this is probably going to be a wrap. Echo is going to do his best to 1v5, but I don't know what more he can do. They definitely had a team fight going there, and there was a couple ways to get in, but I mean, there's just so much CC. Camille can't move. Aphelios is pretty much out of the game at this point. It's just difficult for them, and that's going to be another win for Weber State.
Fortunately, that will end the win streak from GCU and today's match. Weber, hats off to you. Well played, obviously. GCU, though, I say they put up a good fight.
Yeah, I will say I'm much more impressed by that second game than that first game. I think the first game, especially with this new team, a couple new players, a lot of the chemistry's still there, but like it's not the same, and it's especially like I know I change out one player on my team, and it's like the whole chemistry changes, the whole dynamic changes. So especially with Mike coming in for C-Splash was a big part of that team, and I think to take him out, it just kind of messes with their dynamic a little bit. But I know they still do have Spec in there running the jungle, and I think Spec did a lot better that game. I was really impressed by what I saw. Trying to play against, that really oppressive jungler. The jungler was great. I mean, Mike even actually solo killed the Aatrox a couple times, and he was the Masters player. So, I mean, that just tells you enough about Mike. Mike can definitely perform when needed to.
Correct.
And I think that's a really good game for GCU as far as, like, their early game. And moving into that mid game, trying to transfer some of that gold. Camille trying to go help in those skirmishes in the latter half. But it just didn't work out only because I think that Lee Sin his presence was, something that was phenomenal. He was in every fight, no matter what. Whether they were losing the fight or winning the fight, he was always there, in some capacity. And it was really rough for GCU to deal with. I do think they dealt with it better the last game. I did see a lot of fumbles. They were getting caught off. They didn't have vision in places. They were being a little bit overzealous maybe, but I think in this game, they pulled it together. They were a much better unit altogether, and it was a great game, honestly. I had fun watching it.
Well, folks, that is going to wrap up today's stream. Thank you all so much for joining us here on GCU Esports on YouTube, sponsored by Canes and powered by Rockstar. Drink your Rockstar, eat your Canes, do it all. But we thank you guys for watching. Tomorrow we have Valorant for you, so make sure to come by the channel, swing by, and take a look at our Valorant team, because I know we're pretty good right there too.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us so much. We appreciate you all taking the time and watching us, and good night.